With Out of the Box, we went to the KunstenFestival des Arts to see the play Arde, brillante en los bosques de la noche, which means burning bright in the forest of the night, by Mariano Pensotti. This play is a work composed of stories centered on the lives of three women of today whose experiences are intersected by the Russian Revolution in very different ways. The narration uses 3 different formats for each section. It's a work with puppets who one day set off to see a play, whose characters are going to see a film. Like a big Russian doll made of fictions within fictions, each of which changes the others. After the play, we met the stage director, Mariano Pensotti, and we decided to ask him a few questions.
Apart from the 100-year anniversary, why did you want to talk about the Russian Revolution?
I think it's something that it was always somehow present on my previous pieces. There was always some strange connection in between myself and the Russian culture, even though I have no family connection at all. But I think in Latin America still it's quite relevant, the idea of the Russian Revolution. And I'm the son of leftist militants that they were quite, they were communists during the 70s and the 80s. So during my childhood I grew up listening to all the Marxist ideas. But at the same time, in Argentina, there was a dictatorship, so it was really underground. I mean, there were things that you couldn't talk openly to people. So I think there was a sort of revenge or obsession to now I can talk about that.
What message do you want to get across?
I like to tell stories, I like to discuss ideas, I like to talk about things which I'm not that sure about. I like to create sort of parallel worlds where these characters exist and sometimes are similar to our world, but not exactly our. So I'm not sure about the idea of the message, but for sure I think one of the main issues related to the piece is the idea of the body and how much the body is controlled and transformed, especially in the capitalist society and especially women's body. And I think I wanted to use certain very theoretical ideas, but adapted to a very straightforward storytelling. Usually for me it's much more relevant what I want to tell in terms of storytelling rather than what I want to tell in terms of message.
What were your biggest difficulties to produce this play?
Well, it was a really complex play to make. It took us a really long time. First of all, it took us quite a long time to decide what would be the approach of the play, and then it took me a while to write the text. But then it was like a long process, especially because it's the very first time that we work with puppets, and it's the very first time that we make a movie. So it was like going into a different ground for us. So we had to spend a lot of time, especially learning how to use the puppets and understanding what would be the best way to use them. And then it was extremely complex for us to make the movie because it looks like a very simple movie, but well, as we are not professional movie makers, it took us a lot of time, to gather the technical equipment and the people who helped us. So there was many difficulties, but I would say that working with puppets and film for the first time, that were the main issues.
We recommend you to watch this play because the fact that puppets, theater and a movie have been mixed is a great idea.